This is Nic Baisley at FilmSnobbery.com, and I'm here at the Orlando Film Festival. I got a little something different than, we've had a bunch of filmmakers on. We've got something a little bit different for you, but still kind of relating, and I'm excited about it. I'm here today with
Kingsley B.
Hey, Kingsley. So, you're here actually as you're a comedian here in Orlando.
Yes, I am. It's a great place to be a comedian. We have tons of good local talent around here. Plenty of good actors at Disney. So this is like a really good place to have a festival.
And this is your first time kind of taking part in the festival. You're a part of the full fest. You didn't get a chance to actually get up, but you're a part of the whole festivities, and and you've attended in the past. What to you is the draw of the Orlando Film Festival?
Well, the thing that I love the most is you get to see raw ideas. Everything that goes to Hollywood goes through filters and goes through this and goes through that, and the board has to vote on it. Here you get to see what the filmmaker was actually thinking when he wrote the film. And that's something that I really love.
Now, I assume being a comedian, you probably watch a comedy or two yourself. You might appreciate different ideas in comedy and different approaches to it. What's kind of your approach to comedy?
My approach is I want comedy for the masses, so basically I do comedy about things that everybody can relate to. Like one of my first jokes is about military service. Basically, if you were in the military or not, somebody who was in, so everybody can relate to the joke. It's things like that. I don't like people who try and exclude people by having like comedy just for like only a certain group or a certain set. No, it's just me, basically. That's a big thing in my comedy.
Now, I'm going to throw this question could go either way. Did you ever get around to seeing that movie Funny People?
Yes, I did.
And from your perspective, was that an accurate portrayal of kind of a similar struggle of what comedians go through, and even just the kind of the pathos, so to speak, of that?
There were a lot of very true elements in it. For example, basically, the new guy was starting out, and although he had good material, he couldn't get on stage, and there was an older guy who basically ran out of material. Because he was famous, he was getting all these gigs, so the new guy was writing for the old guy, and they were collaborating. The fact that it's so hard to actually break it in the comedy, like the thing that most people say, like I know actors deal with this too, when people like ask me, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a comedian, and they're like, really? So what have we seen you in? HBO, Showtime, this special, that special, and those people have been doing it for years, like 10 years, 12 years, or whatever. Those are their pinnacle. Those are the top of the top. So me not being on it, they're like, loser, what are you doing?
But at the same time, I mean, I think like acting, you kind of have to pay your dues, and you have to get up there. And I mean, when you come up there, you are playing a role. Yes, it's you, and whatever. But I mean, you have to put on an act for the audience. And I mean, how do you kind of go about standing up there trying to make people laugh if you've had a real shitty day?
That's a good question. I remember I got some bad news right before one show, and I thought of this thing that I saw earlier, and basically it was Abbott and Costello, and what happened was one of their sons died right before the famous bit was like Who's on First, I think it is, and he gets the call right before he goes on stage, and he goes out there and he does the bit perfectly, but there's literally tears coming down his eyes, and everybody thought he was so emotional in the bit, but what happened was he just found out his son drowned in the pool. And that was like the ultimate professional for me. So when that news came to me, I basically was like, you know what? If he could do it, I could do it. And that's how I approach it.
Awesome. Now now when you're here at a festival like this, or any other festival in the area or anywhere, I guess, are you always on the clock, so to speak? Are you always trying to pick up? I mean, you're here. Obviously, these people are making movies, which means they need casting. They might need a punch up for writing or something like that. Do you see yourself as a performer first and a writer second, or do you see yourself as a writer first or performer second? I mean, and do you kind of try to maybe, aside from doing just the stand-up, do you kind of try to get yourself out there in other ways as well?
Well, actually, stand-up is my big thing, so I don't know. Stand-up is part writing and part acting, and basically it's one of the forms where you're out there by yourself. If you do improv, you have a troupe to go with. And if you're having a bad day, you have all these other people to pull you up and make you have a good one, and the audience is interacting. Or with stand-up, if you go out there and you're not on your game, you're by yourself, and it's just not going to be good. So to answer your question, I don't know if I see myself as either a writer or a performer. I kind of see myself as both, because without both, you're not going to be good at this.
And when you're at an event like this and you're seeing all the filmmakers walking by, all the other actors, actresses, and stuff like that, do you come prepared and kind of be like, hey, by the way, I'm somewhat of an actor myself, and do you try to make some networking and some contacts in this, or is that just kind of a different world for you?
I'll put it to you like this. I try to make contacts at IHOP at 2 o'clock in the morning. So here it's no different. It's basically anywhere else.
All right.
I do my best to try and meet new people and try and get my stuff out there and try and work with people and more people so I can go ahead and make a name for myself just like they want to make a name for themselves too.
Excellent. Well, I wish you luck. Where are you gonna be next? So that way you can we can maybe help you drive a couple of people.
I'm missing the end of this film festival because I have shows at Bonkers in Orlando. So tonight and tomorrow night I'll be at Bonkers. I'll be on stage and wish me luck.
Good luck. I've always been a huge fan of stand-up comedy. I grew up on Night at the Improv. I grew up on watching stuff from Mitzi's Place. I can't remember what the hell it is. Anyway, the Laugh Factory, I think it was, and all these other. I grew up going to that. My mom was a waitress at one point and at a comedy club, and she would bring me and have me sit in the back with at the comedians table as they're all sitting there writing out their sets, and I'm laughing my butt off at way too inappropriate things. For my age, and so I have a healthy respect for what you guys do, and I think that other actors, actresses, and even producers should be looking more towards you guys. If they're writing comedy, go to the people who know comedy best, because you know what gets a laugh. Because if you're up there and if you tell the joke and it doesn't get a laugh, well, scratch that one off the list. So, are you online at all? Any place you can plug online or anything like that we can get you at?
Well, I have my website, KingsleyB.com, but that's still in the works right now. Every Monday night in Orlando, we have something at the other bar. It's called, it's basically Orlando comedians trying new stuff at our local open mic. It's rather popular. Usually we have about 30 comedians there a night, so there's always something new. There's always something interesting. Like I said, Orlando's a great place for comedy. If you've never been, you should come.
And while you're here, make sure you check out Kingsley B. And I want to thank you for checking us out and sitting down with us, sir.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. All right.